Okay guys, in today's video we're going to discuss using soreness, or let me actually just fix this, using soreness or delayed onset muscle soreness as a marker of how effective a workout was. Because what you'll see quite often is people wanting to cripple themselves in the gym, which you would kind of think like, what are you actually training for? Are you training for a progress, which I presume that's what you actually want. You want to actually get results from your training. But what you'll see people do is correlate being sore with progressing. Like it doesn't matter if they haven't gotten stronger in weeks, months, years even. It doesn't matter that their body looks exactly the same. As long as they feel sore or even exhausted after a workout, they think they are on track, that they're doing a good job. So is using soreness, is using even exhaustion at the end of a workout a good marker of a good workout? No. We'll go for the exhaustion one. So with exhaustion, I could literally just get you to run at just below your anaerobic threshold for 40, 50, 60 minutes. And man, after that, you're going to be knackered. You will be absolutely exhausted, right? So was that progress? Did you have a great workout then? Maybe if that's your goal, to get better at that rate, at that level of aerobic / anaerobic output, perfect. Maybe you did make progress then. But if your goal is to change your body composition, to change your musculature, not a great indication of how effective that workout was towards those goals. Same with, again, if you're using soreness as an indicator of an effective workout, like people want to feel the next day, oh yeah, my muscles are sore wherever I train. Yeah, like I really feel sore in that muscle. Obviously that means I'm progressing. Is it? Does it? I don't know, because again, I could just give you a load of novel stimuli, exercises you've never done before, I don't know, an amount of volume that you've never done before, and it could be a wholly inappropriate amount of volume as well. Like I could get you to do, I don't know, 800, 900 reps in a workout, and for just one tiny muscle group, say you're like lateral or like side delt or something, and then you're like, oh yeah, cool, like it's in agony the next day, I can hardly move, can't move my arm up to the side here. But it's like, are you able to recover from that? Are you able to progress with that? It's debatable whether you are. So using soreness as an indicator of an effective workout isn't a great way to track your overall progress in that workout. So like I wouldn't be using soreness as my only indicator of how effective a workout was, but it does give you some clues as to how effective a workout was. And I don't mean in terms of progress, I don't mean in terms of, oh, every single workout has to be exhausting, every single workout has to leave you sore. If that was the case, I would actually be questioning the calories you're on, your overall recovery. Like, you shouldn't be sore, especially if you're doing the same workout or attacking the same muscles day in, day out. Like, you shouldn't be really sore from that. If you're doing the same workouts, the same amount of volume, and you're slowly progressing your weights, and every single week you're sore, you're probably doing too much volume, or you're probably doing exercises incorrectly, and the soreness you're feeling is not muscular soreness, it's like joint soreness, because you're going beyond your active ranges and stuff like that. So especially as well, if your diet isn't squared away and you're not eating enough protein and stuff, like, yeah, you probably are going to be sore all the time, but that's because you're just under recovering, because you're not eating enough, or you're not eating enough amino acids to actually rebuild muscle, etc. So I would not be looking to have any of my clients, or have any of the individuals that follow the advice that we give out, to be using soreness week on week as a measure of how effective their workouts are, or using it as a measure of actually progressing. I would actually like to see the progress as a measure of how they're progressing. But you can use soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness, as a marker of how effectively you are targeting a certain muscle. For example, if you have a really hard time feeling your calves working, and you're going, oh, like I just can't really feel where they're working. Or if you're a trainer and you're kind of going, look, theoretically I'm thinking through this exercise and it should hit this muscle, maybe if I make this slight adjustment, it should hit this muscle here or something. If I you're kind of thinking through things, and you're kind of going like, that makes sense in my head, but does that make sense in the real world? Going into the gym and doing a boatload of volume for just that particular muscle, like that's how old age bodybuilders used to do it. They didn't have the latest research, they didn't have the latest science, they didn't have the latest Google search or anything like that, an article on whatever websites you're following. They didn't have that. They just had anecdotes. So if some guy came up and was like, man, I was doing, tricep pushdowns the other day, and I was using a rope attachment, and I was like, keeping my arms apart, and I was like, yeah, I can actually feel this part of my muscle a little bit more. Then they kind of go, okay, let me see if that works for me. They go into the gym, they do 15-20 sets of just that exercise, just feel that, see if, okay, yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit more while I'm in the gym, I'm feeling that tension on that musculature, so it appears to be effective. Then the next day, if they're kind of going, yeah, no, it's actually a really deep burn, I'm feeling actually exactly where I wanted to target, that exercise is good for targeting that muscle, so that's how they kind of anecdotally figure things out in the gym. Now obviously that doesn't always work out to what the science would say, but it doesn't mean that you should completely invalidate all of that research, or anecdotal research, I suppose you'd call it. So you can use soreness as an indicator for how effectively you are targeting a muscle, but I would not be using soreness as an indicator of progress. If you're just going into the gym and your sole goal is to make yourself really, really sore, and you're thinking, the sorer I get, the more progress I'll get, you're going to be finding yourself with a very lackluster return on investment. Again, like I could just go into the gym every single workout, do something completely novel, completely new. My body's never done this exercise before, or it's never done it as intensely, like just go heavier weights or something, do like eccentrically overloading things, do a load of drop sets, excessive amounts of volume. And like, yeah, you'll be sore after your workout. You'll be exhausted after your workout. The next day you'll be sore after your workout. But if you're just randomly throwing variables all over the place and hoping you'll progress, it's debatable whether you will. Like you will obviously progress somewhat, but it won't be in any kind of coherent fashion. Like when you go to the gym, you should be looking to stimulate a particular response. You shouldn't be just looking to annihilate yourself, go, oh yeah, like I want to train my back and I'm just going to do all the back exercises I can think of and hopefully something works. Like that shouldn't be your goal. Like, yeah, okay, cool, it might be fun, you might need that every once in a while where you're kind of going, look, I'm just a bit bored with training back or whatever it is, and I just want to go into the gym, feel a few different muscles working, feel a few different exercises, and happy days, I'm done after that. Cool, I'm not going to argue with you in terms of that, but if you're using that as your entire workout structure, I would be thinking it's not the most optimal way to set up your overall workout. So in kind of summary, using soreness as your sole indicator of progress is a terrible idea. Using exhaustion at the end of your workouts as your sole measure of progress is a terrible idea. The only time, well, potentially only one of the times that using soreness as an indicator of anything is if you are trying to figure things out in the gym and you're using it to kind of go, look, I've introduced this new variable. It doesn't have to be huge volume, like I said, but if you've introduced this new variable and you're going, it should be targeting this musculature, and during the workout you're not really feeling that musculature, and then after the workout you're not really feeling any delayed onset muscle soreness in that musculature, perhaps it's not an effective exercise for targeting that musculature or for you as an individual. Now obviously that's assuming your technique, etc., was perfect, so don't use soreness as an indicator of overall progress. You can use it as an indicator of, okay, am I actually targeting the musculature I want to target? Do I have the knowledge, the ability to contract those fibers and actually target the musculature that I want to, So that's it, guys. Soreness does not equal progress unless it is in a stepwise manner and a well thought out progressed manner. If you're feeling sore consistently, I would be looking to why you're not recovering from your workouts rather than thinking, oh, I'm sore, so I must be progressing.